Hey, welcome everyone. So happy to join you today for this live stream on this podcast. And this is the season 2 of The Healing Source. In the first season, we focused all on Tao healing and its relationship to pain, the physical body. How is the physical body go through suffering? And what is the root cause of that suffering? What is Tao healing? So in the first season, we set up the foundation for the entirety of this podcast series. And now that we're in season 2, we're going to be focusing on the emotions. This season will have about 6 or 7 in the series, and this is series number 1. So I wanted to thank you for coming, and all those who are joining live as well, thank you for joining me live. This is being streamed live onto YouTube and Facebook and Twitter and even into LinkedIn. And so I invite you all to follow and to also subscribe to my podcast or to the various social media channels that I'm connected with. Of course, by now you know that my name is Paul Fletcher, and I am a certified master teacher and healer. I've been certified by Tao Academy, and I train directly underneath Dr. and Master Jigong Sha. Dr. and Master Sha, if you are new to this channel and listening to this for the first time, is a world-renowned healer, author, and humanitarian. He is the founder of Tao Science and the Love, Peace, Harmony organization. He has also been researched by Shen Medicine medical research over the last 6 years. There have been numerous articles and studies that validate the efficacy of Tao healing. So this is what we're going to be talking about today. For again, those of you that are new, what is Tao healing? Well, the word Tao means source. So Tao healing is source healing. What makes this so unique is that Tao healing is not a healing that I do or that any of the practitioners who have received this ability do. It is a transmission. It is an authority. And as an individual that has been a center leader for one of the 12 centers that Master Sha had worldwide, I can tell you that those authorities are truly remarkable. In working with this form of healing and this modality for, the last 15 years and the previous 30 years prior to that, I have been on a journey of the spiritual nature, a journey of healing the emotional imbalances that I and pretty much all humanity has. Fortunately, I haven't had a lot of physical ailments, although I've broken quite a few things in my active days. And about 15 years ago, when I started training with Dr. and Master Sha, who, by the way, is my third teacher. The other two were enlightened beings as well. This teacher was the first that I came across that could explain what was the root cause of suffering. And in case, again, you missed it in the first few episodes, the root cause of all suffering, and this doesn't matter if it's physical, emotional, relationship, financial, it does not matter what the area of suffering is. The root cause is always the same. That answer is, in this lifetime or another lifetime, you or your ancestors made some mistakes, brought harm to others by either your thoughts or your words or your actions. Now, for some of you, it might be like, well, yeah, maybe, I'm not so sure. But let's explain it in a more scientific manner. Scientifically speaking, everything vibrates. You vibrate, I vibrate, the cell phone, of course, vibrates. The plastic plant behind me is actually vibrating. And some people are like, whoa, you lost me there. Well, this is physics. Physics validates that absolutely everything vibrates. And in that understanding, when I have a positive or negative thought, I am literally radiating a vibration. And this person might be 5 feet from me. Maybe I have a negative thought about what they're wearing. Tao science, the science of vibration, understands that there is a potential for an entanglement, what's called quantum entanglement. And that's when my negative thought in this example radiates to this other person 5 feet from me. I am now entangled with them, or spiritually saying, I am entangled with their soul. And so by having that negative thought, I have now created an imbalance in two fields. I have my own personal field, and that person who doesn't even know that I had this negative thought about them, it's now entangled in their field. They could look up from their book or their cell phone and say, I don't know what it is about that person, but I don't like them. They could think that about me. Why? Possibly because I just had a negative thought about them. And this is a form of quantum entanglement. So when we have negative thoughts, when we have negative experiences, when we offer negative words, when we offer positive words, positive thoughts, and we do good things to help others, these all do the same thing. They all create a reverberation within our personal vibration, centered in our heart center, going outward. And that then remains in our vibrational field, as well as positively or negatively impacts those as well within our vibrational field. So they have a vibrational field, we have one. Their thoughts, words, and actions impact us, ours impact them. Isn't that interesting? And it's not that you don't get that, but we really don't get it, because almost all of us refuse to take responsibility for our thoughts, especially if they're in here. We fail to recognize that it doesn't stop inside our head. It goes into our personal field. It goes from and past our field to affect the other person we're having that thought about. We are ignorant of that, and it is a truth that will eventually be proven through physics. And what's most important to understand that about this is that the positive and negative vibration in our fields, the positive and negative vibrations, are what contribute to today. How was your day? Did you wake up happy? Did you wake up feeling crappy? Did you wake up starting out pretty good, but then you got a negative email or a negative text or a negative phone call, or you started thinking about the unpleasantness of going to work, whatever your story is, right? We are impacted by our own vibrations, our own thoughts, words, and actions, not just in the moment, but what was already in our field, and we are impacted by things outside of us. So this is the nature of understanding how Tao healing works as well, because it works by the recognition that what is the root cause of our physical, and this whole series is on emotional suffering, what is the root cause is what is already within our vibrational field. If I have created a lot of positive vibrations, then what is in my field and what will come to me is more of that. This is not positive affirmation. This is far, far, far more advanced than positive affirmation. This is what's really happening. And so if I want to transform my depression, my anxiety, my fear, my worry, my doubt, my grief, my sadness, then I have to be responsible for what's in my vibrational field. Tao healing acknowledges this, and when you are in front of a practitioner like myself, then we activate the transmission we've received. And what comes through us as a practitioner is the most pure, positive is the key word, source, frequency, and vibration. Now, if you know anything about frequencies and vibrations, you know that frequencies and vibrations can override or wash out or change or transform that which it touches. A cell phone delivers information, but it can also negatively affect our cells. This is proven. They've put up Wi-Fi signals right next to plants and the plants die. So there's no question that a cell phone signal is not healthy for us. So frequencies can affect us positively or negatively. And so when a Tao healing practitioner turns on their transmission, the positive frequency and vibration that comes through that practitioner then positively affects whatever negativity is in that person's field. Okay, so now let's move into emotions. I see Laura has joined us. Welcome. Jennifer, whoever has joined us live, welcome. Laura says, how can we find forgiveness from others and ourselves? Go back to what I've just shared. Why don't we want to forgive another? If somebody did something to you and you have emotions around that, which could be very angry, it could be grief or sadness because they left you, right? Maybe someone in a relationship. It could be fear of your future because you don't know what to do now, right? We have these emotions that come up. And the first thing to recognize is, where are your hands? Not physically, but metaphorically. Are your hands on the prison bars, looking at that person that hurt you outside of your prison bars? And they're walking around doing whatever they want to do, and you're rattling your cage going, you did this to me. Where are your hands? Who are you giving power to? If you're saying they did it to you, you're giving power to them. If you recognize that the frequency and vibration that was already with you brought you two together, created the set of circumstances, both positive and negative, and that frequency and vibration didn't bring it to you to create suffering for you, it actually brought those two people together to create the highest and best outcome. So even if somebody comes and it's all lovey-dovey and good and wonderful, and then it goes not so good, everything has a purpose. The Tao wisdom shares that the way we transform that is recognizing, I can rattle the cage and say it's outside of me, say it's them, it's, I'm a good whatever. Or I can say, what did I have in my vibration that attracted this person to me? Where once again, I was taken advantage of. Where once again, I was manipulated, or whatever our story is, right? It may be a true story, but what's the reason behind it? It's on your vibration. How did it get there? Maybe in this or another lifetime, we made a mistake. And we did to others what has been done unto us. If we want to clear any negativity from our vibration, in this case, the series is on emotions, it starts with responsibility. It starts with recognizing that nothing ever is accidental. You fall in love, you find love forever, that was not accidental. You earned that. Congratulations. You fall in love, and it's the love of your life for the 4 years, and then it goes south and south and south and south. Well, it's unpleasant to hear, but what that means, and emotions typically are tied to relationships. We're going to do a lot more on relationships, probably season 4 or 5, a lot more. But we're going to stick with emotions here. What that typically means is that you and that other person, that could be a coworker, could be a spouse, could be a child, right? Sometimes the parents have big difficulties with their kids. It could be that you've done this rodeo before. You've had this experience before. It was in your vibration, it was in their vibration. And it's what brought you together in love, and it's what's contributing to the difficulties. So how then do we forgive is the question Lauren asks. We come to the understanding that nothing is accidental. Everything entered my vibration, so I can remove it from my vibration if I don't want it, or so I can expand it in my vibration if I want more of it. Everything is coming to us and through us for a purpose. You ever see those toroidal pictures where it shows the magnet with the hole down the middle, and the frequency comes through the top and out the bottom and goes up in a circle and back down to the center and back around, right? Well, think about a negative thought. It goes down and out, comes back in, there it is again. Goes down, back out, there it is again. What about a positive one, right? What about a positive experience? Goes back down, and guess what comes back to you? Positive. So what do you want to focus more on? You are responsible for your creation. You are responsible for what came into your field. One of the main problems with humanity and all the suffering that humanity is experiencing is we're oblivious to our own responsibility. We love to point the finger outside of us. We love it. But if humanity as a whole started saying, what have I done to contribute to my suffering? What can I do to help eliminate that? Then humanity as a whole would be much, much happier. We'd be much more self-responsible. We'd stop pointing outside of us and start pointing to ourselves, and then we would apply the transformation techniques. So what are the transformation techniques that we can apply? And what is this root cause of these emotions? The root is that we have created those emotions upon others. Really get that. If you have huge grief and sadness, and you just can't seem to get rid of it, doesn't matter. You might say it's because this person left me, this person died. You might say that that's what it is in this physical world. But if it doesn't dissipate, if you have huge anxiety and it doesn't dissipate no matter how much pharmaceuticals you take, etc., what is the root cause? It's on your vibration. How did it get there? In this or another lifetime, you or your ancestors brought that same kind of an emotion upon another. Well, how did I bring anxiety upon another? You might think. What would I ever have done to create this kind of anxiety upon another? Well, we don't know. Most of us can't see into our past lives, and we don't know what our ancestors did. And to be honest, that is not necessary. What we need to understand is there's a reason for it to be in our field. And if we can simply grasp that nothing is accidental and that it's on my field so that I can transform it, I don't need to go down the rabbit hole of how did it get here. I don't have to do that. I just need to be willing to see that it's on my field and it came into my existence, into my experience, so that I can release it. That's why it came to us. And it doesn't matter if we're talking about a depression, anxiety, grief, anger. It's on our field because we caused those same unpleasant emotions upon others. 1 + 1 = 2. Now there will be probably, out of the 10 people who stumble across this podcast, 2 people will just click. They're just going to say, I can't accept that. I can't accept that there's more than one life, or I can't accept that that's true. And that's okay. That's where that person's at in their soul journey. But I tell you, if you want to stop your suffering, pay attention to the wisdom. So then, okay, we understand now how it got in my field. I recognize that emotions, for the most part, can be unpleasant. I love all the happy emotions, the joyful emotions, the love-filled emotions. Give me more of those. But most people don't show up to a podcast like this to transform those. They show up because they're suffering and they want to stop it, whatever they need to do. One of the fastest and best ways is through what's called a forgiveness practice. And there are many other tools that we can do. If you review my first series, I had 7 or 8 podcasts in that series on pain, I used healing transmissions in about the middle of the podcast. And I'm going to do that this one also. If you're emotionally suffering and you want to be one of those that I do emotional healing for, then make sure you get a hold of me and I'll consider you as a demonstration person, probably about 2 weeks from now. But we want to work with something now. How can I transform this emotion or that emotion that's in my field now? Step 1, recognize that it's in your field for a reason And that is to say, somewhere along the line, I or my ancestors made a mistake and created this form of emotional suffering upon another. We may have created depression for another. How? What if you caused others to lose their job? Would they be depressed? What if in this another lifetime you were a general and you ordered people to war, and those people lost their lives? Their families back home became very depressed. No food, no money, no papa. See, there's many ways that we can create these unpleasant emotions, and we don't need to know what it is. We do need to know that it's in our field. How do we resolve it? We ask forgiveness. We open our heart and ask forgiveness. The ancient wisdom shares that the reason we have depression and anxiety is associated with the heart center. Next week, I'm going to be focusing on the 5 elements, which is a traditional Chinese medicine philosophy related to the emotions. But very briefly today, the heart center is related to anxiety and depression. The liver is related to the condition of anger. Your spleen has an association to worry. Your kidneys have an association to fear. Isn't this interesting? Your lungs are connected to grief and sadness. Much more detail next week. But today, just think about that. So somebody's heart is closed and they're very depressed. Well, how do you open it? You do forgiveness. I will lead everybody in a forgiveness practice now. So I invite you to close your eyes wherever you're at. Of course, if you're listening to this podcast and you're driving, don't close your eyes. And I will guide you through a forgiveness practice. You want to call the souls just call one person for now. Let's do this for all souls that we may have harmed emotionally, okay? Choose one emotion you want to transform, okay? Could be fear, worry, anxiety. Choose one emotion. You got it? Okay. I'm going to use the example of depression. You plug in your word. And silently repeat after me. Dear the souls of all humanity, all animals, because you might have harmed animals, all souls, could you please come? I wish to give my love, ask forgiveness. I wish to ask forgiveness on behalf of myself and my ancestors. I recognize now that this energy, this unpleasant emotion of depression, you plug in your emotion, has really created great suffering in my life. I have not enjoyed it at all. And I recognize it has been in my vibration for a long time. And now I truly understand that it may have been there because I or my ancestors created this same unpleasant energy upon you, upon others. Please know from my heart and soul, I would not wish this unpleasant emotion on anyone, ever. But clearly, it may be possible that has occurred. I now wish to open my heart and place my spiritual head on the floor, humbly asking for forgiveness. Because if I have ever caused this kind of suffering to any soul, anywhere, that is unacceptable. I just would never wish this upon anyone. Please, from my heart, forgive me. Please, from my heart, forgive my ancestors. I deeply, humbly, and sincerely apologize these mistakes. From your heart, take a moment. Realize whatever your emotion you chose, others have suffered. 10, 20, 50, 100, maybe thousands of people have suffered that same emotion. Depending on how huge it is in your life, that's how huge it was in their life. Truly do depthful forgiveness. Now there may be people that caused this condition to come to you. They left you, they're the root cause of your suffering, okay? And you want to blame them so much to just anything you can do to lighten that pain. But blame does not change. What does? Forgiveness. What you do not know is, did you harm them first? Maybe they're reminding you. Maybe it's your turn. So here's what you do on the other side of forgiveness. You offer it. Follow me. Repeat in your heart. Dear all those in this lifetime and other lifetimes that have contributed to this unpleasant emotion that I'm feeling now. You may have done things that I'm aware of in this life that have really, really hurt, created great pain and suffering for me. I recognize now that I might have done this towards you first, and I just don't remember it. But one thing I know, I no longer want this energy in my field. I no longer want this suffering in my field. And by offering you forgiveness, I'm not saying it's okay what you did, just like it's not okay if I did this to you or anybody else. It would not be okay. So it's not okay what you did to me, but I may have done it to you first. And I don't want to be the person to do it to others in the future, or even you in the future. So what is most important is that we both forgive each other and fully and completely release this from our hearts. I forgive you. You forgive me. Let us bring love, peace, and harmony. Now I'm going to lead you in a mantra, chanting this for just a few minutes. And I invite everybody listening to truly go inside their heart and offer forgiveness to all those that might have contributed to your emotional suffering. And forgive yourself for holding on to it this long. It's time to let it go. Follow this mantra in your heart. I forgive you. Please forgive me. Bring love, peace, and harmony. Bring love, peace, and harmony. I forgive you. You forgive me. Bring love, peace, and harmony. Bring love, peace, and harmony. Open your heart. Receive the light. Let it go. I forgive you. You forgive me. Bring love, peace, and harmony. Bring love, peace, and harmony. One more time. Really let it go. I forgive you. You forgive me. Bring love, peace, and harmony. Bring love, peace, and harmony. Take a deep breath in. Notice if your heart feels any lighter. This was only 1 or 2 minutes. If you want to transform your unpleasant emotions, Tao healing can help you. Tao healing works with the understanding that nothing is accidental and that you need to bring much more positive frequency and vibration into your immediate environment, in your thoughts, in your words, and in your actions. The programs that Dr. and Master Sha and teachers like myself have set up are designed to engulf you in a field of the most pure, positive love and light. He has created Tao calligraphies. In my membership, I have these Tao calligraphies, and I activate them, and every day my students receive this huge bath that just washes away the negativity. Makes every day just a little bit better. 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, their life just gets better and better and better. Why? Because they're being self-responsible for the negativity that is in their field that somehow keeps bringing unpleasant things into their environment. But once they start changing their soul level environment, then everything that follows has to change. The one sentence secret that Master Sha has brought to humanity: heal and transform the negative frequency and vibration at the level of your soul. And everything, your heart, your mind, your body, your energy, everything else has to transform to match the shift in that frequency and vibration. This is a universal law of cause and effect. And it is not something that can be questioned, because it's provable both in physics and in actual action. So my encouragement to you is to come to my programs and learn more. The links are in the bio or in the description area. I have membership programs. I have individual healing, individual counseling, individual services with light balls and crown chakra blessings and Tao soul light operations. So many things that can facilitate a much faster transformation of your emotions. It starts by you becoming proactive and becoming happier and healthier. Until I see you next week, my name is Paul Fletcher, and this is The Healing Source. Have an awesome day, everybody. Bye-bye.